What's up, guys? Anders Holmes here with another mini solo film review for you. This episode, I will be talking about the new Stephen King adaptation, It. Like a lot of Stephen King's books, the film takes place in the fictional town of Derry, Maine, where a demonic entity known only to the children as It is hunting and killing the children that live in the town. It takes on the form of what the child fears the most, and its main form that it takes on to scare the living crap out of all the children in the town is Pennywise, the dancing clown, probably the scariest thing that Stephen King has ever come up with. When most people think of It, they probably think of the first adaptation of the book, which was made for TV back in 1990 and was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who I think was a production designer or set decorator on Halloween. The film is actually quite good. It's pretty decent. It might be a little bit dated by cinematic standards, but it does have a very creepy performance from Tim Curry, who plays Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and it's one of his best performances, along with his performance in the film Clue as the butler. But one of the issues that the TV film has is that it is adapting a 1,100-page novel, and that is quite difficult for any screenwriter to do. There are a lot of things that happen in It. There are a lot of characters, a lot of subplots, a lot of them get scrapped, a lot of characters aren't in the novel, some of them appear in the film, and a lot of the violence, a lot of the graphic violence, is toned down. The first part of the 1990 version of It is actually the best part, as the children are probably some of the strongest elements of that film. The actors playing them are very well cast, and they have a really, really strong chemistry, and they really do make up that first part. I would just say, if you wanted to watch it for the child actors, and also watch it for Tim Curry's flawless performance. But once you get into the second part, which is where the adults come in and it's their story, and you see them coming back into the town and trying to, gather themselves together to take on this demonic entity again, that's where the film gets a little bit muddled and sluggish, and that's what I felt when I was reading the book for the first time. Like, once it gets into the adult part of the story, it does kind of go, up and down in sort of like, okay, let's get this going. Let's just, we know why we're here. Let's just, cut through all the bullshit and the chuffer, and we'll just, get to it. And there are elements in the Stephen King's novel, like all of his books, they do get a little bit weird now and again, and I feel most screenwriters or filmmakers would look at it and go like, what the fuck? How the hell are we going to put this on screen and hope that an audience enjoys it? So, yeah, I can see that the issues that people would kind of come into, which I feel, given the fact that there's now a second It film coming out soon, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble trying to figure out how to do that, seeing as the first film, It, which just came out recently, is pretty damn good. So they've really set the bar pretty high. So the second film better be damn good, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. The film, like the 1990 version of It, its strong points are the actors playing the children. They are so well cast. The film just generally comes alive when all of them are on screen together, and their chemistry is just so damn good. I mean, they really, hit the marks with they really did a great job in finding the right actors for this film. They did an amazing job. A film is only as good as its villain, and its villain is a damn good one. Bill Skarsgård plays Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Back when Cary Fukunaga was attached to direct the film, Will Poulter was cast to play Pennywise, and I really couldn't see Will Poulter playing him. Like, I think Will Poulter's a really good actor, and he's been in a lot of good films and given good performances, but it didn't really, for me, it just didn't fit. But when I saw the first few images of Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, and then seeing him in the trailers, and then just finally seeing him on the screen, I was like, yeah, they got the right actor to play that character. Like, everything that Bill Skarsgård does in the film makes his version of Pennywise extremely memorable, and you can compare and contrast his version and Tim Curry's version, but both performances are extremely different. Like, he does have a very terrifying mix of being playful and horrifying at the same time. Like, there are some scenes with him where you are just like the children in the film. You're just like, what the fuck? Get the fuck away from me, and all that kind of stuff. Like, he is just, he's just so creepy in the film. Like, his first scene with Georgie when he's in the storm drain, his like introduction and like everything that he does is just so like spine tingling and hair raising. Like, they really got their money's worth casting-wise when they got him involved. One of the smart things that the filmmakers did in the movie was using him in really small doses throughout the entire film, and you can generally feel his presence throughout the entire movie, and you're just sitting there in scary anticipation of when Pennywise is going to pop up, and when he does, it just pays off really nicely, and I think they did a really good job with that, because if they put him present throughout the entire film, I think, he would probably wear out his welcome, and I think probably not be as scary as he was when you first see him at the beginning of the movie, and maybe just kind of laugh at his presence and stuff. But they did a really good job with that, and like I said, Bill Skarsgård is just amazing. Like, what he does physically and just brings this otherworldly presence to the film is just so good. Like, his voice does get a little bit like Scooby-Doo and stuff like that, but overall I really liked him, and I think he was perfectly cast. I've been a really huge admirer of Stephen King's work over the last few years since I've started reading his books. While I'm not like a huge diehard fan, I could really appreciate what he brings to his novels and his writing and everything that he does with building worlds and creating characters and just, finding ways to scare the crap out of readers. Like, out of the books that I've read, like Bag of Bones, Christine, Pet Sematary, Misery, Carrie, and of course It, like, I've really just, all of them are just so different in many kind of ways, but all of them have some qualities to them that are genius and scary, and they're all really well written, and he's just a really interesting writer, and I think his style, like I've said, is pretty incredible, and something that most people should look into when wanting to come up with stories and write and things like that. Like when adapting his work, I feel like one of the things that the filmmakers have to stick to is sticking to the themes and the mythology that he created, which I feel is something that the recent Dark Tower film didn't do. Cary Fukunaga was originally tasked to direct the film and departed due to differences in creative vision. From what I read, he really went in a very different direction with the book. He changed certain aspects of it. He put two characters together, changed names and stuff like that, and he was really going for a really disturbing, hard R horror movie, and the studio probably got cold feet around that and wanted something that, was an R-rated movie, but something that was very commercial to all audiences. And one of the things that they wanted to do was get rid of a lot of the infamous sexual explicit scenes, like the orgy scene that happens with the children. And I'm very happy that they decided to not put that scene in the film, as it probably would have traumatized the actors who had to shoot that scene. Like, you could really see that the filmmakers were trying to pack in a lot of the subplots and characters from the book, not all of them, but some of them, and you could really see that it made the film feel a bit rushed, but it didn't diminish my enjoyment of it. But I could really see that you can't really be too faithful to the book, and you can't put everything in, and sometimes you just have to see what works and just put it into the film and just hope that the audience agrees with it, because at times you just kind of felt like maybe this didn't need to be in the film, and maybe this could have been developed a little bit more if you cut a little bit of this stuff out. But I don't know, you're never going to get a perfect film, and this is not a perfect film, but it does come close, and I think it is one of the best Stephen King adaptations that's been made in a very long time. Like, for someone who's read the book, I was surprised when watching it. I jumped out of my seat. I was frightened. Like, they did a really good job with it. Like, I have to, tip my hat a little bit to the filmmakers for just, taking on the task of adapting this monster of a novel. Like, you're on edge the entire film. Andy Muschietti keeps the tension boiling and pays it off really nicely. My main criticism of the film, and this is just a really mini criticism along with the pacing, is its use of CGI, which I'm not a huge fan of in horror films, and I think it kind of diminishes the realistic atmosphere that they were going for. I feel like my expectations were met. I feel like I got what I wanted when I went to the cinema to go see this film, and it's the kind of horror film that I really want more filmmakers to do, making it more mature, emotive, and most importantly, fun. Like, this was a fun film. Scary, but fun. Really, really good fun. And it was funny. I would say if you're a fan of Stephen King, definitely go check this out. And don't compare it to the 1990 film, because it's just going to ruin your enjoyment of it. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's a different version of it. But one of the main things that it is a faithful adaptation of the book. as a horror fan, I've really enjoyed the kinds of horror films that have come out this year, and I've really enjoyed seeing this kind of new life that's been breathed into the genre, and I really hope to see more films like this, and I really hope to see a sequel that is as good as this film, and hopefully maybe clears up a few of the issues that are present in the Stephen King novel, and hopefully makes something that is surprising, something that makes someone like me who has read the book jump out of his seat just like I did with this film. And I really, really hope that they get the right actors to play the adult versions of the children that are in this film, because I think that's one of the sort of key elements that the film needs to get right. To conclude my review, I really hope that this film introduces Stephen King to a new generation of filmgoers and readers, because out of the books that I've read, I can really see that there is something really interesting and inspiring for anyone who is an aspiring writer and wishes to make films or write books or comic book series or anything like that, because I feel like he does have some really cool qualities to him as an author, and I think you would be a fool to not at least check it out. So there you have it. That is my review of the new adaptation of It. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Fabricius91, Fabricius 91. And you can also check out the Holmes Movies podcast on Twitter. That is the podcast that I do with my brother. It is at Holmes Movies Pod, and we also have an email address, holmesmoviespodcast@gmail.com. And do check out my brother Adam's blog, Bygone Years, which you can find on WordPress. Thank you very much for checking out this episode. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out more of what is there. I hope to do more reviews like this and keep making them better and more interesting for you. I've been Anders Holmes. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.